Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today we're talking about iOS 26 Beta 3, and of course we have a lot more features to talk about. iOS 26 Beta has been amazing until now when it comes to new features and the changes that Apple has done to the software, but of course there are a lot of negative things with this update, and of course it's a beta, so we'll have to get used to it, but overall it's a great update and we have more features to talk about before we move on and talk about the third beta. And this one right here, it's also a new feature. It is basically a new feature on the Files app. So the Files app now offers or supports background processing. So when you're actually copying files or moving files into the Files app, it now happens in the background. So you don't have to stay on that page. You can see right here on the dynamic island, it will display the process that is going on in the background, just like it would do with different downloads that you would have. So when you're downloading stuff from Safari to your Files app, you know that you will get this pop-up on your dynamic island letting you know the progress. Now you can actually see that also when you're doing things in the app, so moving different files or just like copying a file from one place to another in the Files app. The markup tool on iOS 26 now also supports HDR. So when you're marking up something, whether that be a screenshot or a picture, now you will be able to go here to actually pick colors. And if you go to sliders right here, you can see you will have the HDR boost and you will be able to actually turn it up or down using this slider. So you see that slider with that really cool liquid glass animation, and of course you will see also the difference here in colors when you move up the HDR boost for your markups. There is also a new haptic feedback when turning up the volume of your ringer. So when you turn the volume all the way up, it gives you a new haptic feedback. It's like 3 light haptic feedbacks that you get once you have your ringer volume all the way up, and you try to actually just like press the plus button, turning it even higher, but of course that's the limit, so it will give you that new haptic feedback. And there's also a new feature for the FaceTime. This one is really interesting and of course very useful. FaceTime will now automatically freeze your video when you're on a video call with FaceTime if someone is actually undressing on the video, whether that be on your background or stuff like that. It will actually now freeze the video and you will have to re-enable the video manually to continue that video call. And now before we move on and talk about the third beta, the release, and all the stuff you need to know, let's quickly talk about the performance and the battery life and everything else for the current second beta of iOS 26. Well, this is the performance. Again, on paper here, the numbers show great improvement. This is a great score that I got on the iPhone 15 Pro Max here with iOS 26 Beta 2, and as you can see, it has improved a lot since Beta 1. And it actually is really good. And when you even compare to the latest update of iOS 18, which of course by now is very far into the update and it's very polished and it performs good, it's actually even better than some tests that I have ran before on iOS 18. But when it comes to the everyday use, it's actually not the greatest ever. Especially the main thing here will be the heating of the device. If you have iOS 26 currently on the second beta on your device, you might have that problem. Probably you have that problem. The device heats up a lot. That's really annoying. So of course it heats up and it will also affect the battery of your device. You know, batteries don't like extreme colds or extreme heat. That will have a huge impact on the battery of your device, not just the battery life but the battery health as well. Now of course there will be other things like the freezings, especially when I go to the app library, it actually freezes a lot there. But these are minor bugs that you expect to have on beta, especially on these early stages. But the main problem here that I would basically avoid iOS 26 installing on my device if I would just have one main device that I use on a daily basis is the heating, because it heats up even just like performing not those like heavy tasks or playing heavy games. It does heat up a lot even with like everyday use. Now of course when it comes to battery, it's not the greatest ever. Of course, it's a beta, it's a second beta, it's a huge update with a lot of changes and the new design and all that stuff. And you can see right here the battery with 163% is at 8 hours 5 minutes. Then right here 152%, 7 hours 44 minutes. It's not the worst ever, but of course if you have again just one device that you use as your daily device, probably won't get you through the day even if you have one of the newer devices with a new battery installed. That's why I always suggested that if you have a main device, avoid these betas at least until the public beta, which should be also released very soon. Now when it comes to new releases, of course there will be a beta 3 very soon, and I'm expecting it to be released in a couple of days. So Monday, July the 7th should be the time that Apple releases iOS 26 beta 3. And of course it will come out at 10 a.m. Pacific time as usual. It might be late like a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, but it will be released on the Monday. Apple is still on the 2-week schedule when it comes to releasing betas of iOS 26, and probably will be like that this month. And then in August we will move to a weekly schedule where we get a new beta every week. But of course that time Apple will just push more updates with more fixes and improvements and less new features. Now you can also expect another beta to come out the next week. July 14th or the 15th should be the time that Apple releases the first public beta. And that's the time that basically they think that it's good enough for the public to test it, even though even now everyone can easily install this update, even though I don't suggest you do so, especially again if you have just one daily device that you use on daily basis. It's not that good of an idea. So should you update or not to beta 3 or the public beta? Of course, if you're on the second beta or the first beta of iOS 26, if you're still there, you have to update to beta 3. It should be better. Hopefully the overheating problem will be fixed with this beta, and also get an improved battery life, and of course there will be other new features and changes as well. Now if you're on iOS 18, I would avoid installing even the third beta until you see a few reviews, a few feedbacks from people, and see how it's actually performing on devices. Now as far as the public beta goes, even that, again, if you just have one daily device that you use on daily basis, I wouldn't jump straight into the public beta of iOS 26. Again, I would wait for reviews and feedback and see how that is actually working on devices, and then you decide whether you want to update or not. Now of course the process will be very simple. If you're on iOS 18, you want to install the public beta. Once it's out, it will show right here. Just where we have the dev beta underneath it, you will see the public beta. Just simply select it, go back here, refresh the page, and they will have the update and you can install it on your device. But again, I suggest that you wait and see how the beta will perform on devices before you jump on and install it on your device. So that's basically it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. iOS 26 beta 3 is coming out in a couple of days, and then a week after the first public beta. A really exciting update. Again, it has its problems, but it's overall a great update, and hopefully we'll get a ton of other new features and changes with the beta 3. So that is it. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys on the next one.